Hello, I'm Dr. Inman. This is another short lecture on gating problems in the horse. One of the more common reasons that we are called out to adjust these animals is because they're having some difficulty in gating. In other words, they're not moving the way they're supposed to. They're dropping their head, they're bowing, they're flipping their rear leg out essentially. They're not putting weight on one of the limbs essentially. They're bobbing around. They won't come up to gate. They trip when they come up to gate. When they change leads, they trip, or they won't change leads. All of these are gating problems, and they're easily handled. Usually they're blamed on problems with their legs and feet essentially, or their hooves, or some other aspects, and usually it occurs because they're not able to move their musculature adequately due to the fact that they have neurological interference in their spinal cord, and we force find and remove that with the VOM technology. If you go to the vomtech.com, VOMTECH.com website, you'll see how it is that we go about and we adjust these animals essentially. And we can in fact adjust an animal as having a gait problem that's lasted for weeks, months, or even years, and within minutes they're in the paddock moving completely normally, because their problem is neurological interference. The musculature are not firing correctly, and so the body has to make up for it by motioning in a way that actually looks like a gating problem, when it's actually a neurological problem in the spinal cord. So what we can do is we can go through and flip all the switches to the on side. It's incredibly easy and fast essentially, and produce huge effects in the equine. The equine being horizontal essentially have gravity working for it, and so if we can just flip those switches back on like we would flip on in a circuit breaker, we can end up having these animals completely and normally functioning, all the muscles, everything firing and balanced correctly. Another thing that we'll do after we adjust these animals very commonly, we'll use the Vetristim device for myofascial release, and we'll go in then, and immediately what we will do is we will take this instrument that is designed not as a massager but actually to reset the Golgi tendon apparatus and muscle tendon fiber, and we end up doing that essentially with these devices, with this device, and go down the musculature usually of the back and also of the head, the neck, and also the other musculature. This of course is something that we're able to do on a routine basis essentially, and is part of the normal aspects of how we take care of gating problems. We can also, and we've shown you how it is that we use the vibrocussor device as a means to rehabilitate actual muscle bellies, and also tendons and connective tissue and musculatures that are fused or are not functioning correctly or are fibrosed down. So we utilize that as a means to take care of that also. And then ultimately too, one of the other things that we can do is that we can deliver actually therapy that is designed to take care of this particular type of problem using laser therapy, and we can use the basic 4 frequencies, 9, 16, 42, 53 essentially are frequencies that we've used effectively in the canine for about 120 seconds, and we can actually produce and affect most of these benefits and reduce these gating problems effectively without even having to try to touch this animal. So I would have you go to the vomtech.com website and we'll talk a little bit more about it. Gating problems in the equine essentially are extensive, and they are in fact a lecture that would take me days to go over. However, almost all the gating problems that we find are handled with this approach. The approach is the same always, and I'd have you go ahead and look at those particular techniques essentially, and basically go on the website and we'll show you how to do it. Thank you very much and have a great day.